Hello, Nan.
How's your week been?
It's been something. It's been good. It's been good. It's really busy. It's the beginning of the new year, so there's lots of things going on. Your week has been?
About the same. About the same. My non-magical job is getting ready for four different trade shows. So I am slamming smoking busy.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to say something. I literally look down, like for someone who does the work that I do, like sitting at a desk and typing is lovely until it's not. And I was looking at how much paperwork I had, and I was like, I have assistants. Why am I looking at all this? And I realized because it's about me.
Yeah, you gotta do your own content, girl.
About me. So you can't just go and be like, here's Spirit Essence by Tardana. But so it's been a little hectic. Plus, I'm going away, baby.
I know I'm a little excited. Tell our listeners where you're going.
I'm going to Bali in February, and I'm excited, and I have so much to do before I go. But I'm excited, Nan. I want to go. I want to go. I want to do the things, right?
And I would fit in your suitcase just in case you need an extra person to come along with you guys.
Well, I would love that. I would love that. Christmas was good though.
This was great. How about you?
Your mama was here.
Mama was here. First time I celebrated Christmas with her in 23 years because we moved away from the province where she lives.
Mm.
So last time we got to celebrate with her was that long ago. So it was wonderful. And we just enjoyed family time together. And she's back in -40 weather. And I'm sitting in the enjoyable rain in Vancouver. So it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Good stuff. Yeah, good. Christmas is hard for me, but we did the best we could. We had, lots of the kids came over and we hung out, and there was no place for me in my own living room, so I went to bed Christmas Eve. I was like, "You guys do you. I'm not sitting on the floor, baby, so I'm gonna head to the bed." So it was good. It was good. Um, Anything new and exciting?
No, no. How
No.
about you? You had a crazy story you were going to share.
I wanted to talk a little bit about personal responsibility, people. And I'm going to say this with my full chest, Nan, like my full chest. Do not, do not be walking down the mother fluffing street, and I say that with love, with a toque on and headphones on, and then decide you are not going to pay any attention whatsoever to what's going on around you in your space. So here is how it goes. I walk three rescue dogs. And they're all like small, medium, and large, right? And large is not large, large. It's a bigger medium. So, but I have three leashes. Can I just say that to you, Nan? Three leashes. And
Yeah.
all of them are rescue dogs, so all of them have a little something, something.
A little bit like a Cirque du Soleil episode every time you walk your dogs.
For real. So DOG likes to chase cars and scooters and not all cars, big cars like buses and semis and dump trucks and scooters. And he loves his rats and his cats and in that. Honey does not like people when she's on leash. So Honey will go for the bird, go for the cat. Not as bad as DOG. He's like full on, pull my arm out of my socket. And Honey, but Honey does not like people in her space. And Sam 14-year-old Havanese, 13, I'm not going to age him. He just wants to bark at whatever the other two bark at. So here we are. You got to picture this, baby. We got to picture this. I'm walking and I'm stop at the street and I hit the sign. Okay? So I'm walking, for those of you that are listening, I'm going to cross a street. But on the other side of the street, I don't even know how to do this, like kitty corner to me. So this individual would be crossing the street and I would be crossing, and we would meet up if we were both to go at the same time, which we never should. Can I just say that to you? You would never do that because one would be crossing in front of a bunch of traffic. Okay. It's early in the morning. Not so much traffic. This individual I spy with my little eye because I'm aware I have three cray cray dogs and a very anxious owner. That would be me, mama dog, and watching. I'm always aware of my space because I want the best for my dogs and the best for the person that's going to encounter them, and of course the best for me. So I manage my dogs. So I see this individual and I am watching this individual to see what they're doing because they look very much as though they are not aware of their surroundings. They are looking straight ahead and down. They have a toque on and big, like Beats, headphones, the Beats. So they've got these on. He has not looked up or across the street. Either way, has he looked at the just down or straight ahead to where he's going? So he's not aware of anything, including me and three dogs. So my light goes and the little Walkman comes on. He's like, "Come on, lady, and your dogs, let's go." So I start to walk out into that intersection, but I'm still watching the man because what happens? He freaking walks too. There's no cars in this morning, so I guess he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go." So now he's walking to intercept me. I have the right of way according to traffic signals and lights and flashing men on screens. So I have the right of way. And this guy has not looked up, he's not shifted, he can't hear me. I'm like, "Excuse me."
Mm.
My vet. Oh, I just set the dogs off. They're all like, "What?" I'm like, "Excuse me. Excuse me." Now I am stopped in the middle of the street. Now, I have the light, so there's no traffic, right? I mean, they're all stopped, but now I'm stopped and the little light is counting down to like one. And this guy's sauntering across and we're going to nail each other. Let me tell you why I'm telling you this. Is because I felt so put out, Nan, that
Mm.
I was so aware of my surroundings. And this guy was so oblivious, took no responsibility. And if I, for whatever reason, wasn't paying attention, or the light changed and I had to run across the street with my dogs, I would run right into this guy.
Mm.
And then I would be at fault because the dogs would be cray cray. I wouldn't have had apparently control. I always have control of my dogs, but it would always be on me for this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when I waited in the street, and luckily the guy sped up, and never once did he look at me, Nan. Never once
It
did he glance over.
ceases to amaze me how oblivious some people can be.
And the fact that he couldn't even hear me,
Yeah, that's scary.
that was, I think, the part that even upset me more. So I did a lot of talking down though afterwards, right? Like to myself. I was agitated. Obviously, I was annoyed. But I did a lot of talking down afterwards. And that's why I'm so glad that I have that whole energetic thing where I'm like, okay, I'm not sitting in this. This guy doesn't get to define me. And so I
Yes.
talked myself down. I assessed it. I validated all my emotions. Boom, boom, boom. I was mad and I validated all those emotions, but it really reminded me how important it is to really pay attention to it's your personal responsibility to know where you're at, what you're doing. Like literally, even you driving, all that stuff, there's no lie when they say you have to be aware. There's purpose in it. And
Yeah.
yes, we get lackadaisy in it, right? And we're like, "Oh, blase, blase." But I'm telling you, this guy, not one iota. He was going forward, but mostly looking at the ground, watching his feet, but couldn't hear a thing. And it bothered me because I would never want anything to happen to my dogs,
Hmm.
right? Because some jerk couldn't, pay attention to his surroundings. And again, I always have control. You know this, my babies. I always have control of my
Yeah.
dogs to the best of my ability. But, you know,
Isn't that crazy? I mean, I can't even count how many times I've driven home and then it's an hour commute from my day job. I went, oh, and not consciously remembered every turn or every light or every break. And you're right. Like as a society, we get so in the zone, we forget about that personal responsibility, not just to ourselves, but other people and their space.
that's it right there. It's like, I can do me, you do you. But in the essence, uh, I have the responsibility to make sure that I am aware of what's going on so that I don't cause harm, whether that's mentally, physically, whatever, it is my personal responsibility to ensure that I am able to, I was going to say focus, and then I thought, oh my God, maybe I should not use that word. Maybe I should. But that was what happened to me. And the lesson in all of that, from a spiritual perspective, was literally to not let it define me or define the rest of my day. I
Yeah,
assessed it, I validated, and I was like, okay, you know what? Me and the doggers are going to go home and eat chocolate. Well, not the dogs, excuse me, not the dogs. But I was going to go home and eat chocolate and just be like, sir, I hope you have a safe journey wherever you're going and you don't get smoked by something because you can't look up or hear that it's coming. There,
exactly.
that's it, baby. What are we doing today, honey? You're in control. You're in control.
Wind control. Everybody take your ear pods and make sure you can hear us safely as you're walking because we got a really good episode. We are going to be talking about the Devil's Footprints from 1855. Have you heard this
Well,
tale?
I haven't heard it. I only heard it through you, baby. So I know this much, which is wee little for those of you watching.
Okay, well, let
Listen.
me tell you. So, in February 1855, residents of Devon, England awoke to find something impossible in the snow. And it was a trail.
Impossible.
Impossible. It was a trail of mysterious hoof-like footprints that had traveled 100 miles across the country, scaling walls, crossing rooftops, and seemingly passing through solid objects. Now, here's the thing is it's like a biped thing though. So it's not horse hooves. Imagine two like a person's footprints, but it was actual hoof prints and it became one of Britain's most enduring mysteries. And it's
Okay, why
called,
does that sound like Krampus?
right? I know.
Like literally, what
I
sounds
know.
Krampus? Okay, okay, so we got some human hooves happening,
Yeah.
and they went 100 miles over walls and
Yeah. So,
scaling.
so this is the crazy cool part. So like people actually started like getting together with their stories and sharing, that they had seen this and they had seen that. And so basically on the early morning of February 9th, the first witness notices these strange tracks in the fresh snow from the previous night. Now, they were described as 4 inches long and 3 inches wide. So to me, that's the size of like a good horse hoof. Try saying that 3 times fast. Uh,
Okay.
Similar to like a donkey's hoof, right? But it was a single line of these hooves, and it had the same depth and clarity. So it was suggesting significant pressure, like enough weight, what would have been like a human, right?
Okay,
Walk.
okay.
And it maintained a consistent spacing between 8 and 16 inches apart.
Okay, so somebody be out there in the snow, in the cold, in their furry warms, measuring this stuff?
Yes, they were. I mean,
Okay, okay.
so
Supernatural stuff, and wanting to know what donkeys out there in the middle of the country
that's
traversing walls. Let's go, let's go. I'm
right.
here for it.
Now, of course, a lot of this is from old documented texts and books and stuff. So it's hard for us to prove this. It's 1855. But I just figured the story was so cool and mysterious because at the end of the day, the notable locations, I'm going to please whoever is English, don't be upset with what I'm going to say. The affected areas were South Devon, primarily around estuary. Notable locations were the cities Topsham, Lympstone, Exmouth, Teagemouth, Dawlish, and Totnes. I
You're
honestly
speaking English? Like, where are we here?
I don't even know where those cities are, but
I've even
that's
heard of them.
in the book where they and maybe they're like sub
I was
areas.
gonna say, what about being maybe towns or villages?
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Okay.
But somehow all the people in all of these locations got together and started sort of documenting this because it was so terrifying to people. And especially with the fact that the Who's would walk up to walls and seemingly disappear and then continue on a rooftop. So it was crazy. It crossed different terrains like open fields, walled gardens, rooftops, haystacks. They even found it in haystacks, across frozen rivers and into dense woodland.
Okay, this is literally cray cray. I mean, and literally Krampus. I am positive this is Krampus, and they just didn't know it. Okay, so I love this. This is my forte. I love diving into this.
Yeah.
But like who is on the rooftops? Like I this is
I know.
crazy. Go, sister, tell us more.
So there's a few breakdowns that there's contemporary explanations around this. So
Okay.
was a leading naturalist. His name was Sir Richard Owen. And he proposed that the tracks were most likely made by badgers or otters, or multiple animals moving in sequence, or snow melting or refreezing that could have disturbed the prints.
Okay, first of all, let's just stop for a second and have a moment. My spirit animals are badger and otter. So it's funny that you said that. My main one is badger. We all know that. A long story for another time. But that's interesting. So animals, but didn't
Mhm.
they say that the animal? I don't know, a badger is the size of a human, baby,
Yeah. And or make hooven prints.
or
Like
an otter in a haystack.
yeah, and making those odd shaped prints. So there was also another investigation by Reverend G.M. Musgrave.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
The Reverend is on it.
The Reverend's all over this. And so you can see where we're going. Maybe a little bit of deviling is being brought in here. So he published a book called, or an article called An Historical Review of the Giant Storm of 1855.
Okay,
And he suggested that all of this was supernatural causes.
I'm there.
Okay. And he documented extensive eyewitness accounts. So that's how we've eventually sewn this entire story over 100 miles together about all of these crazy, crazy, um, I guess, tracking of these tracks. So
Backing of the tracks.
I watch
Backing
a
of the
lot
tracks.
of
So
ancient
here's the
aliens.
thing.
That really boggles my mind. Like I watch a lot of Ancient Aliens. I love that show. And it proves that we can't be alone, right? People have
True.
come and given us, technology ahead of its time and different things like that. So this to me does sound a little bit supernatural. As far as a geographical scale, the fact that it covered over 100 miles in one single night over multiple
Right.
villages, right? That's that's really crazy and seems very impossible, doesn't it?
Well, I'm just going to say this right now. I would take the supernatural over someone saying that this was an otter and a badger.
Yeah, me
For
too.
real, I would take the supernatural. And so let's have a conversation for a second about the supernatural, Nan. Let's just talk about it for just a second. Um, we believe in things like angelic realms. We believe in the ascended masters, gods and the goddesses, energy like that. We believe in that stuff.
Mhm.
And so people believe in a God, the God of their understanding, but in a supreme being.
Yeah.
All of that, in my humble view, is supernatural, right?
Mhm.
God does not just appear and throw down the gauntlets, right? And he's like, "I'm here, baby," like Thor, the hammer. So this again comes down to like supernatural. I don't believe in demons and devils and things like that. I don't. But I do believe there's other things out there. Maybe it's Pan, the
Peter
God
Pan.
Pan, not
Oh,
Peter Pan, the God Pan, Peter Maybe, could be, but the God Pan, he walks on his hooves and whatever. I think the biggest thing for me that absolutely debunks the whole badger and otter thing is literally the fact that the weight that they said that it would take to make those imprints, right?
because a 4-inch imprint in the snow is going to take a significant amount of weight, right?
Which a donkey maybe.
But the fact that the tracks went up and over walls and across rooftops and through
Krampus.
yeah.
I'm telling you, if it's winter, it's Krampus. Um, So was there anything more? Did they discover anything? Was there any of the actual like remarks? Did the good reverend say?
He didn't. Now, there was a lot of credible witnesses that he interviewed. So there's law enforcement officers, there's local clergy, there's farmers and rural, and everyone is reporting consistent descriptions. So for me, I think that's important because in 1855 there was different levels of education, right? So you might have someone like the clergy who does believe in supernatural and religion and the mysterious, whereas a farmer is going to be, I think, a little bit different as far as maybe a little bit more superstitious, right?
True.
Um, Now, we've come up with some contemporary explanations over the years. Different people and theories have come forward, like escaped exotic animals, like kangaroos
Say an
from
escape exotic dancer. I was like, yes, those heels, baby. I forgot it was 1877 or something. Okay.
I
So
don't think I had those cool shoes then. But kangaroos from private menageries, like that was really big in the 1855. Like they would get exotic animals from other continents and countries and collect them, right? Some of the other things like large birds like swans,
I'm not buying any of this, but carry on.
I know, right? Multiple animals overlapping the same tracks, which seems weird to me as
Yeah.
well.
Over one night. No, not
Yeah.
doing it.
Um, Then, of course, there's the supernatural theories. Is it the devil or demon manifestation? Is it divine warning? Is it an unknown supernatural creature or paranormal activity
Or an alien.
or an alien? Yeah. Yeah. Like, you think about like crop circles, and that's really big in England. Who's to say that they wouldn't want to just, I think they probably sit up there shaking their head at us going, let's go mess with those humans, right? Like, let's stir them up and see. And then they'll do all these weird tracks in one night. And next thing you know,
Oh my
everybody.
goodness. I love that. I love that. Let's go out there. And what it really is some one lone man with like some snowshoe, and he's like all around and we just can't figure this shit out. Okay. I'm not buying this animal stuff though. Are
It's
you?
that thought though, like could a man have done that? Like if he had a snowshoe thing and he was making it, could he have like jerry-rigged some weird shoes that he was doing it or a
No.
stand?
No, no one's got that kind of time, girlfriend. No one's got that kind of time. I mean, that to me, all that seems impossible. I literally, although, I know what the hooves represent. I know why everyone would immediately be like, "Oh, this is demonic, or the devil, or a demon, or something silly," because the hooves and the devil with the goat's head and all that ram head, whatever it is. I can see that, but I also want to say to you, why? Why? What was the end of it? Where did it end? Does it say where it ended and did it just disappear?
Yeah, it just disappeared. It was just one night. Historically, they documented it in a local newspaper. It was like in the Times and the Illustrated London News. It drew international attention, but there wasn't a lot of photographic evidence because photography was really new then.
And
So
it's no.
so everything was kind of preserved through measurements and drawings, but it was never ever repeated in the same scale. There was smaller, similar incidents reported in other years, which I didn't deep dive into my research. But it really, really intrigued researchers, and there has never been a satisfactory explanation found. It's all speculation, and it's inspired a lot of folklore and legend.
For sure, I can see that. Did anyone note if this happened anywhere else in the world?
Well, in the research I was doing, it did say smaller incidences were reported in other years, but it did keep it fairly contained
Mm.
uh, to England. But again, I didn't deep dive into that. So it's possible.
So do you have any theories? Like what are you drawn to?
You know, and we need to do it like a whole episode on Sasquatch, in my opinion. Because I firmly, as you know, I'm total junkie with all of the ancient aliens, ancient artifacts, all of the stuff with even around the pyramids and the technology around there and around Rome and stuff. And so I feel we can't be that ignorant to think that someone hasn't been visiting us and is sitting there messing with us, whether it be, the heteroglyphs or crop circles or different things like that. I seriously think someone just was really messing with humans that night and just sort of seeing what they could do. I don't feel personally it was like the devil or demonic. I think, in my opinion, the devil or demons are a human constructed thing.
Truth. But people could sure find an alien coming down doing that scary as hell,
Yeah. Oh, for
right?
sure. Yeah. I mean, even now today, like what was it just 2 years ago, they finally released government documented stuff. I don't think humanity's ready for aliens yet, and they certainly wouldn't have been in 1855.
Well, we're not ready for some of the politicians coming into power in different places, so we ain't ready for no alien. We got to deal with that first, and then we will take on aliens.
Yeah. And and the interesting thing is, of course, the church services um hyped it up, right? Because if
Oh, for real, they did. You go, organized religion.
right?
Devil is a coming.
That's right. So you better come pray to God. And so, they tried to sort of hone in the public panic and bring it in the sense of, come to church. It's going to save you, right? But the long-term impact was definitely um, very unique. I think they've really tried for years to prove what it was. What do you think?
Oh, I'm more into the alien kind of thing with this, honestly. I'm more into the feel that is I do we consider aliens supernatural? Um
I think so.
I think so. I'm more drawn to that kind of energy. I none of this, animals, exotic animals, they all suddenly escaped at the same time and made one line and hopped over none of that feels good to me. Again, I am not into the whole devil and demons and all that jazz, and you can come at me people all you want. We will have a conversation and I will win every time. But um yeah, so for me, I feel like this is more like an energy that's come through, whether it's come through from the skies or it's come through in another dimensional kind of thing. I believe in that. I just don't believe that there's these evil things hanging out down in a burning pit somewhere, smoking weenies and waiting to like grab the next soul that is feeling desperate and
Yeah.
in need of being grabbed.
Well, and just the sheer amount of speed that it would take to
Oh,
cover,
for sure.
right? Like it does defy human or animal on this earth, in my opinion.
Well, 100 miles up and over like haystacks and then rooftops and walls and all these things. I mean, it really it can't be explained scientifically or logically, let's say,
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
my view.
Yeah, it's to me it was just really interesting, and it was one of those food for thought episodes that I thought people would find really interesting. I'm super curious what our listeners are going to say about this and what they think it might be. Um, because when you read about it, the Victorian era towards supernatural was very different from how it is now, and the social impact that it had on local communities then versus now. Like I feel now we would get a tour bus together and it would be, like,
Feel like I did that tour. I think this is before I knew you. I rented the bus limo, and it had a stripper pole. And I took everyone on Halloween around to haunted places. But there's a stripper pole. Oh, you have to ask our friends about that. The friends in the metaphysical world that came with me for that. That was a whole lot of. But you're right. We would be inspired, but we would, but there's other people that would make a mockery of it. And there's other people that would go down that route of the devil is a coming.
oh, for sure,
For
for
real.
sure. And I think, even in today's society, if that was to happen, you'd have the mediums and psychics, you'd have the clergy, you would have the scientific people, everyone would come forward with their take or spin on what was causing it.
And that's really it. Unless you could actually see what was happening, it would be everyone's take or spin on it for sure.
Hmm.
For sure.
Well, that's what I have for you this week, Tara. That's some food for thought for you to sleep on tonight.
Oh, I love it. I really do hope people like comment and let us know what they think it was. And go to our Instagram too and let us know there. Spirits, guides, angels. What the hell is our Instagram girl?
Angels and guides. Sorry, it's spirits, angels, guides. Yay. Well, that's it for this week, Tara.
Okay.